Morning, y'all. Sorry to get this posted so late. I had originally planned to assign you guys, excuse me, a reading about Mesopotamia, and then it would have some cool stuff involved in it, like pictures and stuff. But I can't get the PDF to be usable in Microsoft. I can only use it in Google Classroom because the stupid company that I originally purchased the materials from only works for Google or only works with Google and not Microsoft. So now I can't use a bunch of stuff I bought, which is super frustrating. So that's what I've been trying to figure out this morning for the last half an hour, to no avail. So I'm frustrated, but in any case, we're just going to try to go over this lecture. I hadn't originally planned on this. This is kind of hobbled together, but we'll see what we can get going on. So let me just share my screen with you. And we can get this show on the road. I've threw together a few quick questions. There are obviously way more slides than what we're going to get through. This is something I made in college, actually. So you guys are all getting the college treatment right now. But it just so happens that it works perfectly with what we're learning about. Mesopotamia means the land between two rivers. It's located in the Fertile Crescent. Is the valley between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. These rivers often overflow and leach silt, which makes the soil rich for an agricultural society. The Sumerians developed the first Mesopotamian civilization. So just to give you all an idea, we're going to go up here, go to Google Earth. Launch the Earth. Launch it. Okay, so this is a tool I like to use when I am trying to get a grasp on where things happened. It's kind of fun if someone says like, oh, there's a battle, at Hastings Bridge. You can look up the Battle of Hastings and it will tell you where it was, and then you can look at it. It's pretty neat. So we're going to do Tigris and Euphrates River confluence. So it's going to zoom us right in. So here you all see is Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Israel. Here is Greece, Turkey. So we're in the Mediterranean Sea. You head a little bit east of that, you enter the country of Iraq, a nation that the United States recently launched an invasion of. A failed invasion. Well, we successfully invaded it, but it turns out we invaded it for no reason. So the Tigris is right here. The Euphrates is right here. They look way different than they used to. The time we're studying is 5,000 years ago, roughly, maybe a little bit more, 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. So things looked quite different that long ago. But that's the idea of where they are. This used to all be really green. It was really beautiful land until the Mongols ruined it all. But that's a different story for a different time. So now we know where we're working. Let's get back to this slideshow. We got to pull the laser back up. So now we are in Iraq, modern day Iraq, the Tigris and the Euphrates River. The Sumerians developed the first civilization. Mesopotamian is a culture, not a country. If you were Mesopotamian, it would be like if you say you are Karen or something. It's not a country, it's a culture. The Sumerians would have been from Sumer, which was a nation. What we think of a nation now. They didn't have nations back then, but anyways. So surplus food grown in the Fertile Crescent created conditions for greater specialization of labor. That's something you're going to need to know for the answers. Because less people were needed for producing food, more people could work other jobs. They could be builders, priests, administrators, which is like, you know, and warriors. You could be a fighter all the time. Ancient Mesopotamia. Oh my God, this phone is just exploding right now. Okay, we'll turn that on silent. So we got ancient Mesopotamia. It covered 3 areas. Assyria, which was an empire. Akkad, which was a little kingdom. Here's Assyria. Here's Mesopotamia. Modern day Syria. Jerusalem. So this is a weird map. It's like backwards. But Mesopotamian civilization involved many people. So Sumer, that's the Sumerians. And then we have several different ethnicities lived in these areas. The Sumerians developed the first civilization, like I said. They had formed a number of city-states. Ur and Uruk, those are the first cities. Uruk is perhaps one of the first cities. Maybe Catalhayuk, they're not sure. So these states controlled the surrounding countryside politically and economically. So they're city-states. Each city was its own power base. No cities really controlled other ones. The type of government they have. They had an empire. So the Akkadians, see, there's all these names thrown around. The Akkadians are people who were also Sumerian. They were considered Semitic because they spoke Hebrew, the same religion of the Jews, the Semitic language. There's several Semitic languages that are all Hebrew. Around 2340 BCE, Sargon sets up the world's first empire. He was leader of the Akkadians, so the first emperor ever in human history is a guy named Sargon. These cool temple structures, you can see it in the background kind of. It's sort of like, it's basically a pyramid with a cool stairwell up it. They're called ziggurats. Ziggurat. I don't know how you pronounce it. Ziggurat. So each city, much like the Greek city, had its own god, and then they would build these cool ziggurats, and then that's where they would go to pray to the gods and give them sacrifices and stuff like that. Every Sumerian city was ruled by a priest. The priest was in control, not a king at first. So that is the theocracy, a government ruled by a divine authority. There's still one theocracy left in the world. It's called the Vatican City. It's also a country. It's run by the Pope. So yeah, here's the ziggurat. It's kind of a little tiered pyramid building. You'll notice that all the ancient civilizations built pyramids because it's the easiest way to build. It's the simplest form to build up in. So everyone did it that way. Here's a much more elaborate and awesome one. This one's got like 3 stairwells leading up to it. This cool little entrance confluence. Here's like the temple where you pray. So this is going to be important for you to remember. They had 3 classes: nobles, commoners, and slaves. The nobles would be the royal families, priests, anyone who was families with those people. Like warriors were nobles. Commoners worked for the large estates. Those are like farmers, merchants, fishers, and craftspeople, kind of the trader type individuals. They would have had a little bit of their own wealth, a little bit of their own freedom. And then slaves were people who had no freedom. And they would have done the menial task, like, being on the farms, doing. Let's see where we're at. I know what these things end up going, so I think it's only been a little bit, and it's not. It's been a bunch. There's so much going on. Hide. How long is this meeting down? 10 minutes. All right, that's long enough. Let me see if I got whatever questions we didn't get. We'll just get to them tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have that technology figured out by then. Sorry for the hobble together lesson. Thanks, y'all. Peace.